Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted, man. What the fuck?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 87 of the Topless Robot podcast. My name is Ryan.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Brooks.
Dan.
And with us today is Tim from the Ideamen and Dog Fashion Disco. Welcome,
What's going
Tim.
on, guys?
And no, he is not the Tool Man Taylor.
So
I'm more of an Al kind of guy, actually.
some people call you Tim.
Some people. Yeah. Get that one a lot as well.
So
okay, let's just get the puns out right now.
There we go. Last next one. I get Samsonite all the time as well. Too. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it, man. Why not?
Wow, you're old.
I'm so old. Yeah, kids, and you look at all these screens. I don't know what these kids are doing nowadays. I just interrupted you. What was that?
Or just magic coffee mugs.
So, Tim, Ideamen have come up on a couple of previous podcasts. I think when we were talking with Kevin from Tubbring and when we were talking with Nebo from Downtown Brown. I figured we may as well get an idea person on the podcast.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Yeah.
So thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you for allowing us to exploit your fame for our benefit.
I would use that term fame very, very loosely. You missed those.
Yeah.
Apparently, all it takes to make you show up on a podcast is to sing a band 3 times.
There we go. Yeah.
Iron Maiden.
And then Eddie comes out of the mirror and cuts your head off. I think they made a movie about that.
Hey, don't give them any ideas. They would love that.
Right.
So, Ideamen, I actually had to do some like Wikipedia searching on this, regardless of like how long I've known you guys, and we played plenty of shows, well, 2 shows together, and we run in the same Midwest band weirdo circles and stuff.
Gotta click, right.
But so Ideamen is started 2006, 2007, around there.
Yeah, about 2006. An old band that I was in, Duct Tape Mustache, just broke up, and we used to do shows with a band called Solvach. So Mark, Dave, and Phil were all in there. And after them, I kind of have these songs. I want to do something with it, and we ended up just jamming in a basement. And didn't really even intend to kind of play shows. I'm like, I just want to put out a really good EP, And started that, and just kind of went from there, man. That was I think 2000. Yeah, I want to say about 2005, but it actually didn't come out till about 2007, because around that time too is when I got a call that DFD needed a keyboard player. So I'm like, oh shit, we're gonna have to kind of put this on hold for now.
Oh wow! So you were with DFD a while back. So this recent coming back, like being with DFD now, is kind of you rejoining them.
Right. They for Adultery, when that came out, it ended up breaking up like 6 months after that. So it was a very short stint, but we were in the process of recording Progress, the EP. And then I went on tour for a summer with them. And then the band just kind of fell apart. So I'm like, oh, well, I've still got this going on. So I ended up just heading back and doing the Ideamen thing.
Right on. Awesome. Well, both are like 2 of my favorite projects. And like I've said before, when we were on the road with Downtown Brown and Psycho Stick, Ideamen came up regularly among both bands as like our favorite bands. Because especially, man, Schemata was a masterpiece, and I fell in love with Ideamen with the album Interesting Times, and actually found you guys through oh man, what was the Scrabble service? The Last FM. Like randomly, you guys popped up on a Last FM stream for me, and I was like, damn, this is fucking good.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So that was fun. That was So I appreciate that, man. And we played. That was, when did we play our first show together? Was that in Madison?
That was in Madison. That was 2013, I want to say.
Okay, so I don't think Schemata quite.
No, it was right before Schemata.
It was right. That one was another long one. It kind of took a while to actually get that one out.
Yeah, I remember talking to Mark about it, and Mark saying Schemata is a little bit of a different direction and stuff. And I'm like, oh God, you're making me nervous because Interesting Times was so fucking good. And then Schemata came out, and I was super, super happy with it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think what was different about Schemata, you could hear everybody's little influence more on that one. Like, it was definitely more of a group effort, and all the loops in the different sequences you hear in there. A buddy of ours who actually mastered it, Alex, he ended up doing that stuff too. You had Miller. That was the first one he was on, and
really?
It just Mm-hmm. So it was kind of a Frankenstein of just everybody's positives going into that album, and
Oh, the lights went out. Right?
Oh Jesus!
You got
I was
power
like,
there,
I thought Jasmine was fucking with me, but I realized that it was my camera light, which isn't plugged in, so it ran out of batteries.
Ooh.
Ryan Trempin alone in the dark.
Are you afraid of the dark?
There we go.
Or you afraid
There we
of the
go.
shrimp?
And the shrimp spake, "Let there be light."
so
Tim.
Yeah, go on, Brooks.
I was going to say, where are you based out of?
Based out of Chicago. Well, Hammond, Indiana.
Oh, like the
Every
Oregon.
time, like a lot like the Oregon. It's still Northwest Indiana, and
it's
we just say
dangerously close to Gary, Indiana.
yeah. It's the next town over is Gary.
Nothing about bad things from my summers in North Dakota. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, I actually used to live in Hammond when I was growing up. I lived right on the Illinois-Indiana state border in Hammond. And there was a school across the street from my house that I lived in a garden apartment. So that's, a fancy way of saying an underground apartment.
Yeah, right.
And I guess I must have been probably 8 years old. And the hospital used the school's parking lot across the way for helicopter landings.
Oh, wow. Pulling together, man.
My best friend's parents were drug dealers, and I woke up in the middle of the night one night and saw, like, through the windows that were high up because we're underground, flashing, like light flashing on the walls of the building next to mine. And went out up front, and turned out that the neighbor's car had been firebombed.
Oh, the old Hammond firebomb. Yeah. I know all about that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's kind of a ritual here. You get about 7 of those.
That's nothing. I grew up in a neighborhood where we could leave the front door unlocked, and you could always just go in and borrow a cup of sugar from your neighbor.
Everybody loved it. Yeah.
I'm hardcore. I come from the hood. Yeah.
Yes, nothing but fond memories of my Hammond youth.
Oh, gorgeous Hammond. But in short, Chicagoland area. I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between Indiana and Illinois the past few years anyway. But Mark, Dave, we're all on this side. Phil Miller actually for a while was up in Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was up in Kenosha for a while. So those rehearsals were definitely a drag for him. Hey, dude, you getting together? It's like, fucking, it's a 2-hour drive. Shit, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, Chicagoland area.
Yeah, so that's 2 bands where you've got members kind of just like fully remote. Like how do you manage the band practices in both cases?
In DFD, we really don't practice until we have a show or a tour. You can't. Todd's down in Florida. Jay and Wendy, they're in Baltimore, and depending on who's drumming, because John will occasionally do a show or a weekend, but he's got a family, doesn't do the tours,
Sure.
So we all just kind of. But Baltimore's the hub for there. We all just kind of fly in and do the little rehearsals there before whatever's going on. So.
Goddamn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as far as Ideamen, it kind of changes, It's like we'll have like 3 people, and then we'll have 4. We very rarely have everybody together. Even sometimes before a show, we're like, I guess we're winging it. See what's going on. So, give them what they want. I don't know, but it can get difficult. Yeah, with everybody's life and what have you, being an adult and regular jobs. So
yeah, I guess that kind of brings me to my next question: why Ideamen not go everywhere?
Why not? How come? Why not?
I second this question.
Yeah. I think it's a money thing. I mean, shit. You know how it is, man. You can't really survive. You got rent, you got mortgages, you got a bunch of stuff. So it's hard to do that. And as far as that, we don't really have a touring van right now. Tried to do a little bit of cash for that, didn't end up doing it, but yeah, I think live's just getting in the way, and we're fine with it. It'd be nice to get out there and do that, but you kind of just got to roll the punches.
It just makes things so much more difficult for fans like me who end up moving so far away. And
we might not ever play shows again with what's going on now. So I think everything's going to be streaming, right?
That's true.
Now you have to do online shows.
There you go.
Yeah,
how about it?
Live stream that shit.
Just break into a JCPenney and play a show in there since they're going bankrupt.
There you go. JCPenney. Sears is another one, right? Sears, they going under?
Oh, the Sears. Yeah.
Sears has been going under for the last decade. Let's be honest.
I kind of thought that. Yeah, it's like 20 years ago it was going under. Right. Like just let it die, man. It's just
I worked at a Sears about 10 years ago, and it felt like we get rumblings like, oh no, like we don't know what's happening now. Getting bought up by other people, and it's just like, yeah, you guys are just going to keep dying for the next 15 years of slow and painful death.
Right.
It's like one of those slow-mo deaths in like a really bad action movie.
What you say?
With like wrenches flying down and just in slow motion.
Mannequin body parts, kind of.
Right, yeah.
Ride lawnmowers flying out in the background.
That'd be funny. Like you see like parts of the mannequin just slowly like deteriorating. Like, is that missing a limb? Last week, I swear to God, that mannequin had arms and just stump before it closes.
That would be fucking great. That would be amazing. Yeah, I'm amazed.
What else is closing?
I'm amazed that there are any.
Good, Mr. Roebuck.
I'm amazed that there are any department stores at all anymore. Like, just no one does that anymore.
No, it's shit. I mean, everybody shops on Amazon. There's
yeah,
going to be no stores at all anymore.
And it's unfortunate, but it is the truth.
I did like Nordstrom because they do have in-house tailors, but like, I don't actually need to have that at a store I shop at. So
sure.
I think a lot of stores too use that just for, it's like a giant billboard. They know they're not making any money on it, but it's like, it's, people aren't coming in, but it's advertisement in a different way. They're like, I can walk in there. I mean, I'm not going to buy anything, but hey, there's a giant billboard right there. I'll go online and buy something,
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of them do have their own online shipping and everything. You can buy everything in the store that you can get online. It's just, you go in, you can try it on if you're getting clothes or anything like that. So
God, I do sound old, don't I? You are more to stores. What's going on? Damn CDs these kids don't listen to anymore.
Ralph Boston would drink the movie.
A few years ago, I bought stock in a company called Enron.
So we should touch on a bit of the news. Unfortunately, this past week, we've seen two real hard-hitting deaths. One right after the news came right after the podcast last week. Jerry Stiller passed this past week, who was absolutely fucking hilarious. And Jerry Seinfeld said that on Seinfeld, he was pretty much not scripted. They just let him go, and he was always on. And he was great.
He wasn't the first Frank too. I think there was a few episodes first season where they had somebody else.
Oh, what, really?
And I'm not sure like why that happened, if they had to go back and do a reshoot, but I've seen episodes where like, wait, I've seen this before, and that's a completely different Frank. And then I read into that later, there was a previous Frank. And are you not going to go with Jerry Stiller?
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone else playing that role. It's just too perfect.
The Festivus episode that my dad every holiday season, he's just like, I'm gonna get that metal pole, and I'm like, all right, well.
Got a bone to pick with you.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
the airing of grievances will begin now.
Yeah.
And then yesterday,
Fred Willard too. After that,
yesterday we got news of Fred Willard
out of nowhere. I mean, I knew he was old, but
and
I didn't think he was that old. He was 86.
Yeah.
Sharp as fuck, man. And when people are that witty, like same thing with Don Rickles, like how old he was and how sharp he was for like Jesus.
Yeah.
He was what, like in his 90s when he went, like my brain's going to be mush by the time if I make it that far, but there's no fucking way I'm going to be that quick, you know?
Yeah. Fred Willard, it was all those Christopher Guest movies are some of my favorite comedic movies ever. And it's so sad. And he's a prolific voice actor as well. And it's just so sad to see him go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was wild because just this week, I was we were introducing one of my roommates to Christopher Guest movies, and so we watched Best in Show, followed immediately by For Your Consideration.
God, so good.
Yeah, and then 2 days later, the guy, out of nowhere, the Fred Willard dies, and I'm just like, fuck, I can't watch any more.
So this is your fault.
It is all your fault.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, what's insane is I knew he was older, but like I remember I've seen him being used in or he's been in multiple different things lately, like fairly recently. He played a big role in Space Force. That's not even out yet. Yeah. And he was in the promotional stills and everything. And so I never really even thought that he was on his way. And then boom.
And apparently he is, I guess, kind of one of the statistics in that he lost his wife a couple of years ago. And statistically speaking, if your partner dies, you're not far behind. Especially at that age, when you're getting up there into your 80s and then into your 90s, if your partner dies, statistically speaking, you're coming up on it pretty soon anyway.
This is why I'm never getting married. Because I mean,
you'll live forever.
Exactly.
Oh shit!
Had a few close calls over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. This is why the sooner Jasmine dies, the better for me, because then I can die sooner.
Right.
I feel that, brother.
Good way to look at it.
The millennial way of looking at things, right?
There's too many of us anyway, man. Just help us out.
I mean, coronavirus is just doing a little drop in the bucket right here to the world population.
Until Elon Musk has to go to Mars, right?
Oh my God!
Bezos creates that fucking spinning interstellar thing that he wants to build. I don't know if you've seen that at all.
I haven't.
The SpaceX stuff that they're going to be doing with NASA soon.
He's gone insane.
Yeah.
How my opinion has changed on Elon Musk over the past 5 years, even.
Yeah.
Like
the Musker.
A friend of mine started a power metal supergroup called Raptor Command a few years ago. And
now, how is it a super group? Like
they're all members of, I mean, not mainstream major, power metal bands, but well-known regional power metal bands.
Gotcha.
So they got together to do an album as Raptor Command, which is nothing but songs about Elon Musk. And singing the praises of Elon Musk. And now we're seeing what 2020 Elon Musk looks like. And those songs haven't really aged very well.
Ah, right. Mm-hmm.
Well,
they're going to do another album?
He did
denouncing the Musk.
Serial number as a name, so.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, his kid's name.
Kyle. Yeah, his name's Kyle, okay?
Well, when Kyle...
You have to scan it with like a barcode to read it. It's like a...
Yeah, here's a QR code reader on your phone to read his name.
Yeah. When the translator comes there.
Sentient, we will then exile Elon Musk to Mars, which is then how in 100 years when he returns with his robot army, the Earth is finally doomed. So
Kyle's gonna be wearing a shirt at all times that has a QR code on it, and when you scan it, it takes you to Tesla's website to buy a car and gives you 10% off.
The child was just another form of advertising. It's a
Now,
biological
what would his fans
billboard.
be?
What's it?
Would you call his fans muskets?
Oh God!
Like the followers? I'm a total musket man. You come out with those the exact opposite of what he is.
Yeah,
that primitive.
I'm a musket.
Right,
Soon
right.
they're going to have to be changed to the Musketeers because there's only going to be 3 left.
Yeah. If he keeps going the way that he is, I mean, certainly his board is not fans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was trying to pull out, right? He was like, "I'm going to Colorado or where else he was saying," and Texas probably wants him.
Dare you guys to arrest me?
Everyone is looking just super thirsty on Twitter when he was talking about moving Tesla, and all these governors or small, jurisdiction, political leaders are in his DMs tweeting him like, Texas will totally take you. Come on out here. Yeah, let's go.
Shit, we'll change the Houston Rockets to the Houston Musks. Come on, we got you, buddy. Changing sports teams and
Muskrats.
There we go, Muskrats, even better.
All right. Yeah. I could see them moving here, specifically to Mesa, considering that we still have quite a bit of automotive R&D going on out here. Every so often, if you're driving on like the northern part of the 202, you'll see some cars wrapped in a bunch of shit.
Yep.
Like the Enterprise. When I was a kid, I was like, how do they drive? Those Enterprise will pick you up commercials. It's like, well, how do they know where they're going if the whole car's wrapped up? But yeah.
And so I think he's being sued for the impact that he's had on Tesla stock, because in the past he's made kind of cavalier tweets that have directly impacted the stock price on Tesla. And he was ordered that anytime that he was going to tweet something that could have that effect, it has to be cleared by the board. And so recently his tweet of, "I think Tesla stock price is too high," and it instantly dropped.
I don't understand what he was going for there. Like, what can you expect other than that actually happened? Like,
what if it was a weird rich person bet? Like him and an undisclosed other rich friend was just like, "Hey, how much power do you think I have?" "Well, I don't know. What if you talk some shit about that company you got, and we'll see how bad it goes." And he's just like, "All right, watch me."
I will bet with this hand of poker, I will bet 300 points of stock. Fuck, I lost. All right, here we go.
That's how all billionaires talk, right?
Yes. If Trading Places
burn some money behind me,
if Trading Places taught me anything, it's exactly that.
That's exactly what it is, right?
they all have the Habsburg jaws too.
Yes, Winston, I grow tired of hunting the poor for sport. What else do you have to do?
The poor too easy. It's time to go after the middle class. Yes.
So what else has been going on this week? How's I guess Arizona has opened up. I doubt that any of my cohorts have ventured out for any significant means.
I'm gonna work.
How about you, Tim? What's things looking like out your way?
It's still pretty much the same thing. There's it's just regular businesses as far as you have restaurants and stuff like that, but they're just doing takeout and delivery, but dine-ins, nothing, still no theaters, none of that. Indiana is different. We're in Lake County, which is pretty much Chicago, so we're doing whatever Illinois is going to be doing. I think they're starting to open up some other smaller ones, like Porter County and stuff like that. But same old, man. Just looking at the watch, being like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Mm-hmm.
Arizona decided to open up completely, basically.
Yes.
Restaurants, barbers,
water
everything.
parks.
Water parks.
Ooh, water parks. That'll be a good one.
Yep.
Essential business, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the chlorine will kill the corona, right?
Most likely.
Yeah, so?
I mean, honestly, I saw a news report where they were talking with a doctor who said, yeah, I mean, most likely the chlorine will wipe it out, but that's not really the only concern. It's that, you've got people forming in lines and things like that. And
I'm making a joke. So yeah,
sure. But you're also right.
Yeah.
The chlorine does wipe it out.
Right.
Ryan doesn't joke about COVID-19.
Right. You can wear chlorine tablets like garlic to you can just kind of dress words like and just
foul virus.
Instead of a spike through the heart, you just have a bleach Tide pen.
that's a really good idea. Yeah, along with that. Don't let him on the slides. Just yeah.
So
get him away from the kid.
What do you do as your day job?
Actually, I'm a deliverer. I work at a couple of restaurants, so I haven't really noticed much right now. I'm actually kind of picking up a little bit. So
sure.
Work for a couple of restaurants and just deliver. So do that.
Doing the contactless delivery and stuff, and
yeah, we got some of those.
Throwing a bowl of pasta at someone's house.
That's all it is, right? There you go.
It's like Paperboy.
Fuck you.
Mm-hmm. I learned everything from Paperboy. Mm-hmm. Then you got to do this, like the Italian thing afterwards. Right.
At the end of every route, you have to do the BMX course.
Right. I'm getting good. I'm getting really good at it.
So, but aside from that,
just doing some more demoing. Right now, as far as the Ideamen stuff, we have about 10 songs that they're structured. We got the framework for them, but still got to color in with a bunch of different stuff. So we got that, and then Jason is sending me files with new DFD stuff.
Nice.
So in the future, we're going to. I guess that is going to be. We're planning on doing an October tour. We were supposed to do a June tour, and obviously what was going on, so
sure.
That got scrapped, and it's got booked now for October. So hopefully, that could be going on, and looking to get that record out by the end of the year. I think sometime maybe December is when we're shooting for. But yeah, still working on stuff,
Right on. How about and this question is for everyone. What media have you been consuming this week?
Media. Let's see. Well, Sunday is the day usually where did you guys watch Westworld? Of course you did.
I watched the first season and got really bored halfway through season 2. So.
I saw part of the first season, but I kind of would rather just watch the movie.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
That first season of Westworld's amazing.
Yeah. It is.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I was a little disappointed this past season, but that was usually my Sunday ritual. And then I was telling Ryan earlier, there's the Last Dance is the Jordan, the 90s Bull era is on today. So been doing that. Speaking of, we were talking before about Frank Costanza. They had Ben Stiller on the Netflix show. It was Have a Good Trip. Have you guys seen that?
That was awesome.
Yeah, it's fucking great, man. It's like Drunk History, just people doing acid and telling stories and doing animation over it. But Ben Stiller's was really good.
It felt like a really nice PSA for all those like suburban moms whose kids are getting their cars.
Yeah.
It's okay. Your kid's gonna be fine. Here's some celebrities you trust.
Yeah,
right.
I started watching that the other day, and it was I really enjoyed what I saw and who I saw on that. It was a really interesting collaboration of people just talking about their trips, which is fucking rad.
I watched. So I've been having a Saturday ritual of watching a good movie and a bad movie. And yesterday I watched with me and Kayla, we watched Mad Max Fury Road as the good movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
And it was fantastic. And it's so beautiful. I love you, George Miller. But as the bad movie, we watched The Last Airbender.
That's a great movie. What are you talking about?
Oh, no.
It was so... I've never seen it before.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Sham, no. Sham No is like there's no in between.
There's
like a handful of movies like, wow, this was a really fucking solid movie, and then it's like, oh, he's gonna put out shit, and then he'll hit you with something that was good. You're like, I don't get it, man. There's no in between.
Yeah,
I just don't understand what he was going for with The Last Airbender. It just felt like he forgot how to make a movie.
I don't understand who thought those were the best hands to put that movie in. This guy who's known for incredible ups, always with a twist, and incredible lows, always with a twist. You know what? Let's give him this much beloved, well-known property to make a live-action feature out of.
It felt like he was saying "fuck you" to everyone who was watching it, because like there were deep cuts of that first season that the movie's about, where they obviously had seen the show at some point. But then they say Avatar Ong, and they get everyone's names mispronounced in
Soka,
and Avatar Ong, and half of the people are saying Avatar, and the other half are saying Avatar correctly, and it was just like they didn't ever watch this movie to make sure they did it right, or they did it intentionally. And I don't know which one's worse.
Yeah, I have fortunately not seen that movie, nor do I think I ever will, even on just like a, hey, let's watch a shitty fucking movie, kind of night.
And when you do the good and bad movie.
It was a lovely experience.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like, fuck you guys.
No, fuck that movie. It sucked.
When you do the good and the bad movies, do you take a gamble which one you're going to do first, or do you have we got to watch something great?
We do a palate cleanser. We do the bad first, and then the good after to make us feel better about ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's not.
Oh my god, 5%. You know what? I tried watching the Jay and Silent Bob, the new one.
Oh, the reboot.
I got through for like 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, this is, I don't know. It's me personally. I don't mean to offend anybody, but it was another one of those where, I couldn't even do it. So
I watched all of it. It was exactly what I expected it to be.
Right,
it was the exact same thing that Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was. Like, it's nothing but in jokes and,
hold back the film.
Yeah, pretty much, basically. And
I'm a Kevin Smith fan. I dig his movies, but
I dig his movies that I did Clerks, and
right. Did you like Red State?
Red State was outstanding. I love Tusk as well.
Tusk is it? Yeah. That's kind of when I had a newfound respect. I'm like, this is amazing. That he could do this stuff.
I just like watching directors torture Justin Long. So
there we go.
Yeah, they recently did like a documentary, like released a documentary on Tusk on YouTube, and it's great. It's really, really cool to watch.
That's another A24 movie. That studio's just puts out awesome shit constantly, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great indie films,
A24 and so A24 did Uncut Gems as well.
Excellent movie.
It's incredibly painful movie to watch.
it gives you a heart attack. Within the first 5 minutes. I've never had that much anxiety before, man. Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever had as much respect for Adam Sandler as an actor as I did after watching that film.
He's decent, man. When he's not directing his own movies and that type of shit. But
I watched the Happy Madison movie last night.
Oh no, which one?
Just came out on Netflix. The Wrong Missy.
Oh, I have not heard anything about that.
Never heard of that either, but
it was like Adam Sandler decided that James Spader was he's like, well, you've been like sidekicking in a bunch of my movies recently. Like, let me give you a lead role here.
Wait, James Spader or David Spade?
I'm sorry, David Spader.
I was going to say those are very different, and I'm trying to imagine any relationship that Adam Sandler has with James Spader.
Sorry, David Spade.
That is not something I expected you of all people to get wrong, Brooks.
Hey, man, it's been a long day.
Hey, you can call a spade, okay?
Hey.
Yeah, it was every so it got off to a pretty okay start. It was like, all right, a Happy Madison film. Okay, all right. Let's see how long this lasts. And I got about 10 minutes into the movie, and I was like, nothing like maybe they're maturing as a film company. and then someone gets like some like blunt force trauma, and I was like, nope. It's one of these.
Well, I think he started doing those movies more with, he's got kids, so he's definitely a family dude,
Yeah.
But yeah, with Uncut Gems and what was the one that he did? Punch Drunk Love was great.
Punch Drunk Love was absolutely so
Click.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Click as well.
Click is okay.
It was cute. It was cute.
Like it was cute,
adorable.
but I mean,
it was
like,
sad as fuck.
Sure.
It was so fucking sad.
But I would not mention Punch Drunk Love and Uncut Gems in the same breath as Click. He really showed that he is an extremely competent actor and dramatic actor in Uncut Gems and Punch Drunk Love. There's, in Click, it's definitely not his worst film.
I think it's the director too, actually. Like you can take any actor. If you have a decent director, you're going to get something out of him. You can have a great actor in a shitty, like fucking Leo in, Titanic, or have you seen De Niro in shitty roles too, Sure. So I think you're as good as your director. And Safdie brothers are just fucking awesome, man. So after that, I went back and watched some of their older movies. I'm like, I get it. I see their tone now.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen any of their other films.
Another A24 movie, Good Time, with fucking Robert Pattinson's in it. But same thing. Like when the first 10 minutes, you just get anxiety. It's one night of like a bank heist kind of going wrong, and you're like, oh shit, here we go. I'm in it for the long haul, And then going back to the palate cleanser, like, all right, I need to feel better about myself. Let me put on Jackass. Let me watch a guy get kicked in the balls for a bit.
And then Punch Drunk Love is Paul Thomas Anderson. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And his stuff is also very, because he did Magnolia before that.
Right.
And all of those are very...
There Will Be Blood. Yeah, you're going to get the best performance out of the guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna unpopular opinion here. I hated There Will Be Blood. I did
really?
not like that movie.
I get why people say that, because without that character, you go, okay, it's just a movie. I mean, he did make it, but I mean, I thought it was solid.
I just did not. I'm a big fan of slow burn movies, but that movie felt like a movie that just continued slowly burning and never really, like, there was a minor climax, but it wasn't.
It was a boil. It wasn't a. Yeah.
It was a simmer. Let's not give it a boil.
Simmer. There we go.
Absolutely, that movie had absolutely no payoff. That is, I agree.
Right, the payoff's supposed to be the end scene. It affected me. I mean, I was blown away by it with the bowling scene, fucking murdering that dude. But
it sounds like somebody drank Tyler's milkshake.
Well, I mean, the intent was to bring the boys to the yard.
They're like, it's better than.
Oh, okay, that's what
it is. Dan, have you watched any television this week?
No, I have not. The only thing I've watched in the last week are UFC fights.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why?
Dan's love for violence is.
I feel like
I was noticing that about him. He looks. Yeah.
Every time, I don't know. Like, I've told you I enjoy watching some sports, and he was like, every time I mentioned, like, I watch football. You're like, what? Why?
No, I know that you're a football fan. Specifically, UFC is where I get confused, because I see no appeal to UFC, especially seeing the machismo that is born out of it.
Oh no, absolutely. I hate UFC fighters, but I enjoy watching UFC fights. There's a difference, right? Like
you get to see those people get beat up. So
yeah, you're right. Like almost all of them have the fucking cross and angel wings tattoo on their back. If they're from East Asia, instead they have a demon or a dragon. Like, it's all the same fucking thing. Except there was one Polish dude the last night who had a tattoo of Vegeta on his. That was mixing it up.
You got a spit take there.
And I mean, that's the other thing, Ryan. I told you, I did martial arts for a significant portion of my life.
Yet more reason to be confused as to why you like UFC of all things.
He can't pay teenagers to fight behind the Circle K at this moment.
I mean, it's like MMA, but it's,
Listen, man, you can only instigate so many bum fights before you have to watch somebody else put them together.
It's fair. It really is the next generation of bum fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was there in the day watching that shithead Kimbo Slice put on his backyard fight.
Yeah.
Wow, I haven't heard.
Forgot about Kimbo Slice.
A long time.
A
Kimbo.
Very, very large man.
And now he's down in hell making demons fight each other for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I remember I have never really been big into like watching fights or anything like that, but I do remember a video circulating of a Kimbo Slice fight, and it looks like it's in someone's front lawn, and he just has someone in a hold. Right? Probably, most likely. It certainly could have been. It looked like dilapidated America. So Hammond or Detroit, take your pick. Yeah. And so he's got this dude in a hold, and he is repeatedly, and this guy is much smaller than him. He's repeatedly punching him clearly as hard as he can in the kidneys. And I'm just like, that man is going to die. That's just one of those fights I'm about to watch someone die.
That probably hits home now with the kidney stones that he had, right? When you hear that, you're like, Jesus.
Now, yeah, jeez.
Yeah, you're like, what are you doing? He's got stones.
He needs that!
It makes me realize just how susceptible to pain those internal bits of your body are. Like, you would never even think about it. And I, talked about it on the podcast last week, but like even the doctor said that the worst part of it is when the stone's passing from the kidney to the bladder, because that tube that it goes through is so small, and I'm not supposed to be feeling these things. There's so much pain there.
Well, I had prostatitis. I kind of got a so we could talk about this, right?
Sure, of course.
A catheter. Right. I was having, this was about maybe 8 years ago. I was having a hard time peeing. And I'm like, okay, well, what's going on here? I went to the doctor, like, oh, it's just prostatitis. You'll be fine. You take some medication. Did that. About a week later, same thing. What the fuck? So I actually saw a different doctor where he put a camera up there. So I'm kind of trying to, be on the same page as you. It felt like, you ever see that movie Fire in the Sky?
Yes.
So you're awake, and they're putting that through your urethra. And once they pass that part, you're talking about that. I was like, this is the worst. This is the worst thing ever. So, and he's like, no. He's like, yeah, it looks good. Everything's fine. You're good to go. I'm like, okay. Went home and took a shower.
Yanks it out like a ripcord. You're free.
Oh my god! Yeah, my insides just came out. But yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Beyblade!
Chronic prostatitis. What you got?
God damn, dude.
Yeah, and it was like an umbrella. Then I started floating around the top right there.
Nurse, please indicate on the notes that I did, in fact, let it rip.
Oh, man. Yeah, none of that shit is fun. Like, it's you don't even realize that any of those bits are sensitive until something goes wrong, and then all of a sudden it's the worst fucking pain in the world. Prior to that, the worst pain I'd ever had was tooth pain. This absolutely is worse than tooth pain.
Tooth pain's pretty shitty though.
Tooth pain is definitely pretty shitty, but
not the worst, but it's up there.
Ooh,
it definitely sucks.
So what's been going on in the news as of late? I feel like I no longer have a firm grasp on time or concepts thereof, or ideas of like what the fuck we talked about last week and what happened in the interim.
Alamo Draft House officially went bankrupt.
Yeah, they're filing for bankruptcy, so that really sucks. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're closing, though.
Chapter 11, they're just restructuring and trying to get away from debts and all that good stuff. But We'll see if that means that they stay in Arizona or not.
And as I understand, that's exclusive to the 3 in Arizona. That is not Alamo Drafthouse at large. That is the 3 in Arizona that have filed for bankruptcy.
Which makes me so sad. It's the best freaking movie theater around.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I did see something had some talks about Amazon trying to buy out AMC.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That would be interesting. That would be really interesting.
Well, the AMC did the whole thing, what was it, a couple weeks ago, where they weren't doing Universal movies anymore, right?
Yeah.
Amazon's going to buy them and then show Universal movies.
Yeah,
What a
that's kind of, yeah, it's
joke.
like, so go through the back door and kind of do one of those, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can see them wanting to do that, especially because they're expanding like their original movies and stuff like that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
I heard also
Alamo
the
started
PS5
their own streaming service in partnership with another company, and it's more so it's they've got employee picks and things like that are they're basically kind of compensating for the lack of any film festivals this year, since everything has had to be canceled. So a lot of things that were, in the lineup for Cannes and for, all these different film festivals are going to start popping up on this Alamo streaming service. So you can rent, all these movies that are recommendations. And there's a lot of really cool, out there obscure shit on there. So I think, while it may have been inspired by, the situation that we're all in right now, I certainly hope that it's something that sees enough success to continue on through the end of all this, because a lot of these types of films don't get the exposure that they deserve.
Right.
You've only got, I could probably name a handful of friends who are film festival friends who go off to the film festival, all the time. But what comes out of those is a very small select, maybe 1 or 2 movies, you'll hear about did well at Cannes or did well at wherever, did well at Sundance, and the rest gets ignored completely. So if this shines a light on a lot of that independent cinema, I think that would be fucking amazing.
Would be cool. A lot of others.
Drive-ins are kind of... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say drive-ins have kind of, I guess the numbers been going up, obviously, because of this going on. So.
Yeah. And
the idea of drive-ins making a return would be the coolest shit in the world.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking awesome. I'd go to a drive-in movie theater.
I know.
But they got anybody, you guys out?
I think so. I'm not really sure.
I think there's only 5 in the whole states, actually.
Yeah. We had one in Tempe for a while, but I think it went out of business, right?
Yeah, last is in Glendale, I think.
I know some stadiums across the country are starting to be repurposed as drive-thrus or drive-ins.
Oh, shit. Drive-ins, wow.
Drive-thrus.
Yeah, just
drive-through movies.
Just everyone
can only see 5 minutes of it. You're like, okay,
you watch a movie like NASCAR. Just keep turning left. You'll catch a scene as you come around.
And you all get together and take notes after that and see if you got the script right. You're like,
put the whole movie together.
Yeah. It's like Memento, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, speaking of that, I think
some people are going in reverse and seeing the movie and rewind.
And they hear demons, though. They see demons because they're watching the movie backwards. But I guess
a subliminal voice that's telling you to kill yourself the entire time.
Right. Yeah. I think Nolan's pulling the movie until shit. It was supposed to come out. Was it Tenet's the new one that he's got? I think. What did I hear? I think maybe I heard that like theaters are just going to wait till there's actually a couple of blockbusters. There's that coming out. I don't know what else, but maybe July they'll do 50% capacity or whatever. And yeah.
Well, something that's interesting, and this is not going to be interesting to anyone in this video besides me, but the Hamilton musical was going to be getting a
direct to Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's going direct to Disney Plus. It was supposed to come out in October of 2021 in theaters. They were doing the live original cast production as a movie, and they were going to do it in theaters in October 2021, but they moved it up to July of this year and are making it, and direct to Disney Plus. So
July 3rd.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting for them to do a Book of Mormon movie. I still haven't seen it, but I don't know. I'm not sure what Matt and Trey are doing. Yeah,
Book of Mormon's fantastic.
That's what I hear from everybody. Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's one that I've been meaning to catch for a long time. And to your point on the theaters opening up half capacity and stuff, something I want to talk about very, very briefly and put into perspective for people is that operating at half capacity for a lot of businesses means the business is going to fail. So, for example, most bars can't operate at half capacity because they're, like bars bank on those big nights that are going to pay the bills normally in a normal month. So operating at half that means not meeting those bills. And I imagine that a lot of other businesses operate on thin margins as well, because we all these businesses have to in order to stay competitive. So operating at half capacity means forcing yourself to make half the money and only pay for half your bills.
That's true, yeah. And then you got to rent too. So are they? I know they put a stop with a temporary stop for 3 months for a lot of different there's stuff like that. Yeah. So,
but that is not speaking as a business owner. That is not something that has carried over to businesses. It's for individuals. So
isn't there a big small business loan that you can get right now?
That has been completely given out. They have no money left in that.
So that was the frustrating thing about that, right? It was completely limited. It was like a small business lottery more than it was a small business loan. Yeah. Like it was just a feeding frenzy, and you had to hope you got some of that. And if you didn't, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I know that the company that I work for managed to get on that because I have a sweet little temporary pay raise until July, and then I know that BRI got one of those too.
Yes.
And there are two versions of this loan. There's the PPP and there's just a general loan. The PPP is forgivable if you keep if you keep paying your staff. So the purpose of it is to keep your staff off of unemployment.
Right.
So, but that was all gone pretty much immediately. If basically you had a fast lane if you already had a relationship with an SBA bank, like a bank that did SBA mortgages, because all the SBA does is, or not mortgages, but SBA loans. All the SBA does is they connect you with a bank, a partner bank that facilitates a loan with SBA guidelines. And so if you don't already have that relationship, then you were kind of pushed to the back of the line when these businesses started signing up for these loans. So if you already had a relationship with one of these businesses for this express purpose, then you had a direct line and your loan was processed immediately and you got it. So that's why you saw a lot of these larger companies that don't, while they technically fall under the qualifications on an individual location basis, they're much larger entities in reality that were not, intended to be receiving these loans. Stuff like, I think Shake Shack was one of them, who, came under heavy fire because they're a very, well-off company. They've got plenty of fucking money, but because they employ fewer than 500 employees per location, they got to qualify, which is fucking stupid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stole the money out of the hands of people that actually needed it for their own gain.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, which is definitely a bummer because it's certainly going to make things more interesting once we can all go outside again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In other less depressing news, there are cool people that are going to be in the second season of The Mandalorian.
Yes, there have been some good announcements on that.
Like Walter Goggins,
Timothy Oliphant.
I'm sorry, Timothy the Elephant, not Walter Goggins.
Oh, Goggins is great, man. I was about to say.
Same guy.
0 for 2 there, man. Goggins is great in the what was it? The last Danny McBride show. Him and Righteous Gemstones. You guys seen that?
Oh yes, the Righteous Gemstones is amazing.
I saw a little bit of it. I haven't finished it.
Dude, it's too much, man. That movie's great.
And then Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah, Katie Sackhoff is going to be she's going to be playing a character from Star Wars Rebels and Clone Wars, which is fucking sick.
Nice.
I do like that they're. I know you mentioned this last week, but that they are kind of doubling down on that. Like, let's bring all this stuff into one spot now.
Yeah, they announced that. Basically, they've announced 3 or 4 of the characters from Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars Clone Wars are going to be in Mandalorian now. We've got Bo-Katan, who's the leader of the Mandalorians. We potentially we're going to have one of the Hutts from Star Wars Clone Wars. He's going to be in it, and then not confirmed, but it's pretty much. It's rumored heavily, and because of the other characters that are going to be in, Sabine, who's one of the main characters in Rebels, looks like she's going to be in it as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, it makes sense. Like, take the 2 best written Star Wars properties of the past decade and bring them together. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. It also makes sense because Dave Filoni is the executive producer and a director on Mandalorian, as well as the creator of Rebels and Clone Wars. So.
Sure. Makes me wonder if my old my voiceover teacher will end up with a role in one of those. Steve Bloom.
That would be fucking cool.
Shout out to the Bloom, huh?
Yeah.
Where was this at?
Just remote. I have had 2. I've taken 2 voice acting classes, and one was with Steve Bloom, who did the voice, the English voice of Spike Spiegel. He was in Star Wars Rebels, and things like that, and a billion other things. Like, he was Tom the Robot on Toonami in the 90s and 2000s. The little between the shows robot, and
I like Fat Tom better.
And my other voice acting teacher is Chuck Huber, who was the voice of Android 17 in Dragon Ball Z, and he basically works for Funimation. And so that one was a much more intensive hands-on course, like over 3 weeks, 3 classes a week. And we produced a final project and all kinds of stuff. So
he's also
was that up north, or was that when you're still living down?
It's out here, yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Always remote classes, just do Zoom calls and stuff.
Right.
A lot of fun,
cool, man.
And already, like, one of my classmates from the Chuck Huber class is now in a Funimation production.
Nice.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's like Fire Force or something like that. And it's just
and/or spin-offs.
Crazy, just absolutely crazy. Like, within a year of us finishing our class, she got brought on by Funimation.
That's fucking cool.
Unfortunately, Funimation doesn't hire anyone outside of Dallas-Fort Worth. So, because that's where they're based.
It's really fun there. That's why.
Yeah.
We're
just
like,
get a
what's the most fun place to go to? Fort Worth.
I don't know, man. A decent music scene. Riverboat Gamblers are from out there, and
there you go.
And pretty sure Houston's better.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Hey, that worked. Shout out to them. It's all good.
Hey, it's close to Austin, and Austin's pretty cool.
Yeah, if by close you mean still about 6 hours away. Texas is huge.
It's close on the map, right?
Yeah. It is closer to Austin than other parts of Texas are.
Yes.
Right.
It's only 3 hours away, okay?
Oh,
this is a fact.
That's nothing. You can skate there. It's fine. 3
Oh,
hours.
yeah. Nah. Whatever.
Or if you're from Austin, you're a fixie bike.
I'm gonna segue. I think.
Oh my god, that would be miserable. If it was on a fixie, the pedals are just gonna. If you're like, because in order to do that in any real time, you got to grab onto a vehicle, right? So you're on a fixie, you grab onto a vehicle, and the pedals are just at, the second you put your legs down, you're at risk of breaking your legs.
By the way, Tim, when you said I'm going to segue, I thought you were basically telling us to shut the fuck up.
The next bit? I have something to say. Like, no, a segue.
I'm a segue away from this one. Because this is fucking
Christ.
It's revealed this segue. He's actually standing up to record, and he just reverses on his segue and leaves the podcast.
I'm a segue out of this podcast.
But then it's just like Mike Tyson riding the hoverboard, and you watch him slip and fall over and slam.
Tyson, he's fighting again soon, isn't he? Isn't he doing a...
Seriously?
Yeah.
Evander Holyfield, right?
I think so. I'm not a boxing guy, but I mean, I saw clips. Yeah, I saw clips. He's 53. I mean, I don't know anything about boxing, but he looked quick. He looked good, but
after he already ate part of Evander Holyfield, he has to eat the rest now. Is that what's going on here?
I believe he's for the pair.
The wizard's instructions were specific.
Yeah.
His powers are draining. He needs another ear to get back to where he's at. He's really 120 years old, so he feasts on ears, is what he does.
There's only one way to create Mike Holyfield, and he must consume the whole Holyfield.
It's not just the pigeons that make him stay young. It's the eating ears. That's the real cure.
And let's be fair, when he said he wanted to eat his children, just the children's ears, that's what it was. Come on, he's a good guy.
You can still hear without your ears. It's just a hole in the side of your head. It's just not it's not as good at determining where sound comes from.
Honestly,
he's a saint, if you ask me. He could be doing a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little did we know Mike Tyson's actually been around since 200 years ago, and he just has subsisted on ears to keep him immortal throughout all time.
The fact that he still has a career disgusts me, to be perfectly honest. The fact that he has, even become like a laughable bit of a joke thanks to The Hangover, or any amount of things. The rape, the brutalism, the fucking eating of ears. The fact that his career, none of that has broken his career, blows my mind and disappoints me a great deal.
I mean, to be fair, after the eating the ear thing, his fights kind of dried up for quite a while. I think he was only brought back into the public consciousness as a joke in...
Right.
And this is kind of the same concept we just applied to UFC fighters being shitty. Like, nobody cares how shitty they are as long as they can kick ass. So, it's going to be the same thing with Mike Tyson. Like, as long as he can come out swinging, nobody's going to give a shit what he does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's that Irish fighter's name again?
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor, yeah. I mean, how many shitty things has he done in the last 10 years? And he continues getting fights.
The shittiest thing he did was come out with that Proper 12 whiskey because it tastes bad.
Oh, well, then I've got a real bad news for you for your birthday, brother. I specifically sought out Conor McGregor's whiskey.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Look, don't worry. I mean, either way, I get a good birthday gift because that means I can just bash it over your head and pour the whiskey on the ground.
Your birthday is tomorrow?
Yes.
Oh, happy birthday, buddy.
Thanks.
The youngest of us.
The youngest.
Yeah.
He's the baby.
27.
He's only 40.
27. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like the Marlboros.
What was that?
Anything planned? You're probably just going to chill at home.
I mean, I'm having dinner with my folks tonight. But other than that, nothing else planned tomorrow. I'm just going to fucking sit at my house and stare at the wall, probably. Just another day.
It's a fun thing to do to stare at the wall. Watching.
Oh, exactly. It's a full appointment. Like every time I open my phone, it's like, well, what am I doing at 3 p.m.? Stare at the wall. What am I doing at 4 p.m.?
I can't squeeze you in here. No.
Yeah.
I have to categorize the baseboard damage by how they effectively relate to the music I like.
Between 4 and 5 o'clock, I get a 5-minute break to go take a shot, but then I have to get right back to staring at the wall.
Those walls need to be stared at. I hear you.
Yeah.
You gotta be vigilant when you're staring at a wall. You gotta give it your all.
Those things can jump away from you anytime. He's got to keep that shirt on. The only thing that's different about tomorrow and any other days, he's going to draw a picture of a cake on it with his own blood, and then you sit there and watch it.
No, I thought
then he could live another year. Is that your annual?
This year is my last chance to attempt to join the 27 Club, so we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed, buddy. Fingers crossed. You got this, man. You got
it. Thanks.
We believe in you. We all have your back.
What do you got behind you, man? Is that I can't read that. Is that a V kit or no?
Yeah, it's
your drum set there.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's very nice. I haven't had it for very long, but it's radical.
Nice.
I absolutely love it.
I'm thinking about getting one. Just something, I don't know, something cheap. I don't have to spend too much money just to kind of get some chops going. Not much of a drummer, but I
mean, only one way to become one.
Right.
Kill one and take his place.
Yes.
Eat another drummer. Clearly.
So I
can stare at his wall.
Yeah, I think I have a solution for the both of us, because if I'm looking to join the 27 Club and you're looking to become a drummer, you can come out here, kill me, and eat me, so I become part of the 27 Club, and you become a drummer.
Wow.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's put that in your phone
simple.
right after you're looking at the wall. Take the wall thing out of there, cancel the wall look at, and then be murdered by him.
The thing is that my problem is I'm not sure. I might be booked all the way through to being 28 to stare at the wall, so I don't know if I'm going to have any time.
Hey, we got a full year, man. Got a full year. So, I mean, if it's the last day of it, so be it, right?
I'll think about trying to cancel some of these appointments. They are very near and dear to my heart, but I'll try just for you.
Well, just keep me in the back of your head,
So
you got it.
We have gotten to the end of the podcast, and that means it's time for our Ask Reddit question. This is not the question that I'm going to pose, but it's one that made me chuckle, and specifically I need to come back to because I need to read these comments. Pornhub fans, have you ever hit the share on Facebook button, and why?
Good question.
It's a very good question. The fact that Pornhub has share buttons really has always made me chuckle.
They would. They're so fucking ridiculous. Like every time I hear about their social media stunts.
Oh, dude, what they do with their analytics
the streets was hilarious. That was one of my favorite dumb marketing things I've ever heard.
What they do with their analytics is absolutely brilliant. But instead, I will ask you, what is the most fitting case of vigilante justice you've ever heard of?
Oh, definitely. The fucking dude who got arrested for hitting 27 pedophiles over the head with a hammer.
I haven't heard that one.
I hadn't heard that either.
It was some dude who got arrested, and I think he was using a ball-peen hammer to beat rapists to death, like child rapists. God, what was his name?
God, someone needs to make a movie out of that.
Right. I see the Superman symbol, but just a hammer crushing a head.
That's a Coen Brothers film if I ever heard of one.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm news to me, man.
Satisfying vigilante justice, huh?
Anchorage man who attacked sex offenders sentenced to 23 years in prison. Yeah. Wow. Holy shit. How many was it? He attacked 3 registered sex offenders.
That's 7.
Yeah, it's not as many, but still good.
3 is still a lot.
I've seen a few instances of a very similar situation where dad walks into his daughter getting sexually assaulted and immediately grabs closest weapon and beats the shit out of the dude who's doing the assaulting, and then they get off for any kind of assault because it's like self-defense kind of thing.
Sure.
But even the ones where it ended with the dude like being brain dead, where it was like, okay, he went overboard and honestly could have been arrested and sent to jail for attempted manslaughter. They basically got off because of it was like thinking about the situation. I always enjoy those kind of stories. Those always make me feel a little happy.
I'm gonna go with me last week. I was driving and I came to a complete stop, and a car next to me did not come to a complete. He did the whole rolling, right? So I looked at him, and I just kind of did like one of those, like,
oh man, it's my own heart right there.
Come on, buddy, right? Really,
We have a fucking hero on the podcast now.
I felt pretty good. I felt pretty good the rest of that day. I mean, I was patting myself on the back. You gotta put him in his place. You gotta let him know what he did.
Is your cape in the mail?
Bravo.
It is in the mail, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do have to add after that, even though I say fucking up sex offenders is a cool thing to do, he says don't do it because it ruined the rest of his life because he's going to be in prison forever. So, of
course.
Sure, yeah, of course.
I have to at least stipulate, hey, he does
probably a hero in prison, though.
Probably.
Yeah, no one's going to.
I've always wondered if that was an urban legend or not. Like, do people actually... will you actually be a hero in prison if you beat up sex offenders or pedophiles, or is that just
if the movies taught me anything?
Yeah.
Actually, the other inmates build you a throne out of the corpses of other sex offenders that died in prison, and you just
they build you a throne out of all of the cigarettes that they collectively smuggled up their own assholes.
Guys, let's all go to prison. This sounds fun.
Yeah,
a good time, right?
Isn't that a movie? Let's go to prison. I'm pretty sure it is.
For me, I think the any instance of a Nazi or neo-Nazi getting punched, I think that is a very important thing to do in life in general, is punch Nazis.
There we go.
And I think those are the moments that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Makes you feel all warm inside. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not as warm inside as when he waggled his finger at that guy who didn't stop.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, unbelievable! You kidding me? Oh, shit. Man, I got a little high on my high horse there. It was,
the last thing anyone like that you've done something wrong when you're being chastised by a keyboardist.
Only thing worse is if a bassist did it.
True.
Yeah.
No, I could see him. I could see you there. You waggle your finger at this guy and you lean back in your seat, just like, oh my God, I've never felt such euphoria in my life.
This is what God feels like.
Rainbow just ends in his car.
Whereas me,
I am a suburban god.
Whereas me, being a bass player, would have looked at the guy and gone, "I get it, dude. I'm late to band practice too."
Yeah.
Hey, it's cool. Same boat, man.
Yeah, the band just plays it out me every time. They told me it's not that big of a deal.
Bass player jokes.
Brooks, Tyler, you guys got thoughts?
I gave mine.
Oh, did you?
With literature, so I'm just like, oh yeah, there's that guy who went to prison for a bunch of years because his friend set him up and then married his girlfriend. But that's the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
Let me think.
Man, when Boo Radley helped out Scout. Oh wait, that's To Kill a Mockingbird.
Shit, man. World War II.
End World War II.
That's going to do it. Thank you, everyone, for watching and/or listening. We'll see you next week.
Here we are at the end of our Topless Robot podcast again, and we're here to do the Topless Robot podcast unboxing special we have at the end of each episode. And today, I have an interesting item. It is imported from, I think he said it was Tibet, maybe, or it might be Nepalese, but let's take a look and see what's inside. I've already kind of opened the box a little bit just to make this a little easier and a little more fun. And fucking subscribe, asshole!